Sports Biz Radio. This is Rob Thompson. How you all doing? Listen, I got some special guests here today, and we got Tristan and Mike over there from WalkOn Nation, who's joining us together on one video from the bedroom of the world headquarters.
That's right.
How you guys doing?
Pretty good. Awesome. Glad to be here. Thank you.
All right. So guys, so talk about this. Talk about the concept of it. Talk about you guys together, your friendship, co-founding this, teammates. Just go through the whole thing.
All right. So how much time you got?
You got enough.
All right. Well, to start off with, me and Tristan both played football at UCF. We were both walk-on turned scholarship players. And throughout our time and journey there, we noticed that there's a huge disconnect between athletes in the real world. And in that time, both of us took our time to go intern at our student athlete welfare and development office. There we started to figure out more that this is really needed in the world, but it's not grabbing the players as it should be. So we came with the idea ourselves, like, well, we've been there, we've done it. We've played at the highest level. We've been from 0-12 to 12-0. So why not be us? Use what we've learned in our experiences and make our own curriculum and start WalkOn Nation. Because the thing with WalkOn Nation we like to talk about is walk-on mentality. What that mentality is that whatever happens, you're going to make it. There is no wall that'll stop you. You got to figure that out. And we both see that, especially nowadays in the climate, everyone's too finicky, and if something happens, they just shut down. We need to change that, and that mentality needs to change. For us to be where you want to be in general as a person, it can be athlete, it can be a regular person. You need to have that mentality that gets you through. And that's what WalkOn Nation stands for. And this started actually here, or just came one day and Tristan was like, man, we need to do this. Who better than us to speak what needs to be spoken to, what the world needs to hear? So that's how WalkOn Nation came about. Actually, in this room we're talking right now, right. So we sit down and have our meetings and everything. It all started right here.
I love it. So talk about that. Talk about the one thing that was appealing to me when I first met you guys and kind of looked into your platform was that you were allowing walk-ons to tell their story and featuring them. What does that mean to you guys as far as allowing a voice on to other walk-ons that are out there?
Yeah, so with that, playing Division I football, usually about half your team is walk-ons. And usually the stories are only on the top couple people. And that's something to be said for the star players as well, but the majority of our team, not just football, but across the board, are walk-ons. And then in turn, majority of the workforce and people in the real world that were athletes probably are walk-ons. So we want to empower not just walk-ons, but all student athletes to use their voice, but particularly walk-ons as our story and our background. Y'all are valuable too. Y'all are the backbone of what every great team is. And particularly at UCF, there's a great culture of walk-ons that turn scholarship. And there's been before us, while we were there and now, a lot of walk-ons that turned into that star player, turned into that next CEO or whatever, doing what they're doing. So we want to shed light on them too.
You know, there's a thing that we talk about a lot, and I think it's the core mission of your business too, at least it seems that way, is that mental toughness plays such a big role in things, right? And explain to what your perspective on mental toughness, because I don't think everybody gets it. Like, you know, to be mentally strong, it just prepares you for the rest of your life, right? As a walk-on in the last 4 years and earn a scholarship and play D1 football, you guys are special human beings, you know, because a lot of people they don't know about the 5 a.m.s, right? They don't know about it. They don't know about that part of it. So talk about that and the meaning of it.
Right. So the real meaning of mental toughness, it's a choice. You have to choose to be a walk-on. It's not like we have to do it. It is our choice to wake up day to day, grind, and knowing that even how hard we grind, it's just for the other player to be better. We have to work twice, even 3 times as hard as the next person in order to succeed. So this mental toughness that we deal with, this is a learned behavior. This isn't just something you wake up, oh, I'm mentally tough. No, this is something you have to deal with day after day after day. You have to work at it. You have to grind at it. Something like you said, a walk-on has a certain wire in their brain that quitting is not an option. When it wasn't an option for me, it wasn't an option for Tristan.
Right.
We were not quitting because we decided that once we step foot in this, we're not leaving until we get what we want out of it. We will succeed no matter what. And that's what most, if not all, walk-ons have when it comes to mental toughness. And that's what we feel mental toughness truly is that choice day to day.
Yeah, and to add to that, you need to have a thick skin, a thick mind. And when I say that, even though during the recruiting process, you're not fast enough. The way you're coming from is not recruited enough. You're never going to go to Division I. You're never going to play college ball. And then when you get there, you're never going to earn your scholarship. You're just going to be a practice dummy. You're just going to be a scout team player your whole career. Why are you even trying? Or from the scholarship guys telling you to chill out, like, because we're going so hard to get that spot, and they're telling us, our friends, why are you doing this to me? Why are you making me look bad? Stop, chill out. So you have to be able to block out all the noise and focus on what you're doing, one step, one day, one breath at a time.
Yeah, you never want to be the Tuesday afternoon All-American, right? You never want to be the Tuesday All-American at practice. But after a while, you get your butt on the field because of it. So, guys, talk about that bridge. Then, when you get into the real world, how does that? What's your message to student athletes about the things and the base and the foundation that you're building now, especially as a walk-on? Because the real world, that is when you really need the thick skin too. So what is your messaging within that?
Right. So what we teach in WalkOn Nation is the whole thing of athletic identity redefined. So we have being an athlete, let it enhance you, not define you. So there are a lot of tangible things that athletes have that can carry over into the real world. Now, it's our job to show those athletes what that is. And it usually starts, actually not usually, it does start with identity. Most of the time when athletes leave, their identity is so deeply rooted in sport that they cannot transition over into a real world because they were not exposed to that. What we do here at WalkOn Nation is making sure we redefine what athletic identity is. So when it comes to the sports you play, there's so many things from that can guide you into the real world. And it all starts from self-discovery and knowing who you are within. And you can't get that until someone exposed you and pulls that out of you. In sports, they always say it's 80% mental, 20% physical. But when it comes down to it, when do we speak about mental? Never. We never speak about mental unless it's plays or film and mentally remembering your opponent's plays and game plan. But now let's transition that to we're smart. Athletes are smarter than most people think. We're always the dumb jocks to put the 5 a.m. to remember film, to remember game plan, to remember plays, to execute to the perfection. There's something in our brains. Now we're pulling that out to bring it to the real world to show you that you are so much more than an athlete. Now let's redefine what the world is showing you, and let's show you the talents and everything you actually have. So that's what, when it comes to transitioning, that's what we focus on at WalkOn Nation.
Mm-hmm. So talk about some of your seminars and some of your services that you guys provide.
Yeah, so with that, to start off with, we wanted to start with 3 main topics. There's so many things we want to talk about, but because of lack of time and just resources, I know as a college athlete, time is already limited, so we can't be there every week or every day. And same thing with high schools. Like to Mike's point, the first thing we talk about is your identity, athletic identity. We have them take the AIMS measurement, so that's athletic identity measurement scale, to see where they rank as an athlete. 0 being a non-athlete. If you get a 0, you probably shouldn't be playing your sport. And then 70, you're 100%, like that's what you do. And we see where they rank. And typically, they're about 50 and higher. We've seen high school and college, all different sports are usually in that range. And we want to get a baseline score to see where they're at. But to Mike's point, we talked to him about, look, this is where your identity lies right now. Now, what happens, God forbid, season-ending injury, career-ending injury, you decide not to play anymore, you don't make it to the highest level. because your identity is, you're confusing your identity for what you do, not who you are. When you can no longer do what you do, you cannot be who you are anymore. So we try to instill into them, look, just because you play football, basketball, you run track, whatever, that's great. That's what you do. That's not who you are. But what can we do because of this platform given to you? And then from there, we transition into the integrity piece. So now we know who we are. Okay, what do we stand for? Who do we want around us? So we have them dive into their core values and what they look for in other people. And a lot of times, those don't really correlate. Those don't add up. Like your closest circle may not represent what you're looking for in other people or in yourself. So maybe it's time to reevaluate your values or reevaluate who you're hanging out and spending your most time with. And we explain to them too, like when we walked in on our UCF football, our campus, they had on the wall, faith, family, football, academics, social, like those are the core values of the program. And every program has their own, respectively, right? And nothing wrong with those values. Maybe those aren't your values, but you're molded to that. So in those 3 to 5 years you're there, you can adapt to that. Cool. But when you're no longer in that environment, maybe those values don't identify with what your purpose is, what you're trying to do anymore. But we tend to still cling to those values and stay with them. So we wanted to really just empower them to think for themselves. Who are you? What do you stand for? And how do you want to be perceived by the public? So that's kind of a nutshell of the gist of what we've been doing so far.
So self-discovery is so important, mental health, mental wellness, those are all hot topics that you guys are hitting this at the right time. You mentioned something before, 50% of football players are on scholarship or walk-ons, and that's even higher in other sports, especially in Olympic sports. Parents don't realize it's not about scholarships, it's about roster spots. Right. So I think you guys are onto this thing right at the right time of what's happening in the industry, especially with self-awareness and mental health and all those things kind of coming together. So what's next for you guys besides coming down and or being at, you're already down there, but being at the Sports Biz demo day, what else is happening in your world?
Right. So we're actually going to be speaking at the Black Student Athlete Summit at the University of Texas about redefining athletic identity. And the topic is superhero syndrome. So what superhero syndrome is, basically, just very quickly, it's just athletes have the sense, or people in general have a sense, to put everything on their shoulder, the weight on their shoulders, almost like Atlas. You know how Atlas tried to hold the world up, at the same time he's stuck? What that is, we're teaching that it's okay to put value into yourself first before you try to do everybody else. That's the main, without giving everything too much, that's what we're doing. And we also have some colleges lined up down the line. So everything's coming together. It's really fun because our workshops are all interactive. They're 1-hour workshops, but they're interactive, no PowerPoints. And that's really what sets us apart, is everything's interactive. Being an athlete, if you came to me and you had a PowerPoint on the board, I'm zoned out.
Yeah.
I'm completely gone. So the interactive piece with that, and like I said, we've done it before. Together we have 6 rings, 3 New Year's 6 bowls. We've played at the highest level. We've been there, we've done it. So we're a lot more relatable to the athletes as some others may be. So that's what we have lined up, and it's just an exciting thing to be a part of, and it's just going up from here, and we're excited to what the future truly holds.
Well, you guys have certainly taken an idea right there in the world headquarters of WalkOn Nation in that room.
Right.
Right. And I'm thrilled to be working with you guys, and I can't wait to see you when we're down there next week and what happens in the development of this business. And I'm rooting for you. So, how do people get a hold of you, and how do they find you?
Yeah, so we're on pretty much every social media platform, walkon_nation. Our emails and cell phone numbers are on our website, www.walkonnation.org. So if they are interested, want to inquire about our services, or just want to talk to us for motivational purposes or just how-tos, you can reach us there.
That's Tristan over there. That's Mike, and I'm Rob, and we'll see you later. Thanks, everybody, for watching Sports Biz Radio. Take care.
Thank you.